if,
Sure.
if anyone is listening to this, like, and I sound like I'm laughing and having a good time and everything, like, if I could tell you the amount of public failures I've had, it's
Oh,
it's really disheartening. Oh my god, a buddy of mine from college posted something. There's a podcast called, I think it's called Dead in the Eyes or Dead Eyes,
uh-huh.
something like that, and it's about failures at work and how you should expect nothing at work.
Yeah.
I mean, I look, I know this isn't very motivational, and I should be talking about like yeah, funny things about the Britney documentary with you guys,
Right.
but like, I'm sorry to get all
Yeah.
depressed, but really, I, I even tell my kids who are like 12, I'm like, girls, ex- like expect. Let me tell you the O'Connell way.
Yeah.
We expect not only nothing, we expect things to go really badly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out that way, that's a victory. That's a huge victory for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
I also would I would add to this, and I'd point out that our producer Guy had a podcast for a long time that I quite like called Failing
Yeah,
Up.
sure.
But
It's
and it, but
it's the
it
guy.
was
Mhm.
it's yeah, it's the guy. But it's like what's interesting about those stories though is like as much because I had the same thing. I mean, I've fallen to my knees with disappointment and tears, but it's like surviving that shit. Like I don't know that I would take a lot of it back.
Well, no,
I
and actually, you know what? I'll tell you, watching, when The Last Dance came out, the Michael
yeah
Jordan docuseries and
yeah
everything, and I'm a huge diehard, fan and everything. And one of his best quotes that I always think about is that I failed and failed and failed and failed, and that's why I'm successful. Which it's like that's true. Nobody, you don't ever benefit from success. It's like that's great, but all those failures is what
Yeah.
leaded to your success. And the Johnson household, let me tell you, it was like, oh, you're gonna move out to LA, well, good fucking luck, that's not gonna work. But I'm like, well, when I told you I was gonna be a sports producer, same thing, but I did it. And then I was a news producer, and then I did this. But it was always like prepping me for I talked to my mom,
yes.
I'll do stand up, and she's like, did they all tell you you didn't do good? Like, well, I sold out a show. Well, okay, well, this time, you're like, great. But as much as, and sometimes I'll have friends that are horrified to hear that. However, it's not a bad thing. I wouldn't trade it. I appreciate the preparing me for the potential for failure versus you're going to be great. Everything's going to
Yeah.
work out, perfect. It's not.